Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. If there are any of you watching, just let me do a little bit of housekeeping. That's always good. Let me share that. I am live. Oh, hopefully that will share to my page. There we are. We'll click that. Good evening. Let's turn that noise down. Good evening, Sophie. Could you just confirm that you can hear and see me, my darling? I think you should be able to, because that was working nicely. We'll just wait for a few more people to bob on before we start. We don't want to cause havoc and offend or upset anyone by starting early, and then we're going to take my ugly mug off screen in a minute so that people can actually see the products rather than my face. And then we've got a little project. Thank you, Sophie. Much appreciated, darling. Much appreciated. So, yeah, we've got a few people clicking. So last night, Pentart shared with a lovely lady called Judith an amazing project with the new products. And I can't profess to be an artist, but I can, I think, show people ways of using the products in an easy way. But I'm going to start by going through the new products so people know what they're getting as part of the new products. So they've been promoted on social media by the lovely Pentart team. But I thought I'd go through them in a little bit more detail. So they have revamped and modernised their entire fabric paint range, and it's been packaged in new packaging as well. So bringing the packaging up to date and the formula up to today's spec, so which is really helpful. So we have a range of new fabric paints, and the key is this little word in the banner at the bottom saying that they're machine washable. So the key for these is you paint them on, you finish your project, you let it dry for 24 hours naturally, and then you heat set it, protecting it with parchment paper or ironing it from behind through a cloth with a dry iron. Take the steam off it, and you need to spend 2 minutes on each area, which is a reasonable amount of time, but I think worth it to get a project that you can then put in the washing machine, which is really good if you're doing something like a cushion cover or a top, as Judith did yesterday with her beautiful toucan. So that's the how to use and how to care for these. Good evening, Sheila. Hi, Isabel. Hi, Marina. Hi, hi, Helen. Hi, Julie. So we'll go back through this as more people come on so we don't miss them. So let me just take my ugly mug out of shot and let's just swap to that one, and then we can move about. And I've got lots of brushes out on the surface. So these are the plain colours, and I use the word plain loosely because I really don't think they're very plain at all. We have a jet black, we've got a white, and it is a proper nice white. Key colours always to have in your stash because you can then make shades and tones really nicely. We do have a grey as well. Then we've got a series in the brown family, where brown, hazelnut and beige, and you could also move the vanilla from the yellow family over here as well if you wanted to. We have some greens, pine green and apple green. So if we turn these up, you can see we've got a vintagey tone, a standard tune, and a really bright, or three that will work together. They are fantastic colours, Helen. And then we have the same for the blues. We've got a range of the different colours. So beautiful. So easy to layer, easy to mix. We've got a mint green, which is, I think, really more turquoise. So those will work together. and a petroleum blue as well. There's lots of options there in the blue, green, blue ranges. Let me put that one over there and that one over there. I have a plan for them for later on. We have a proper purple and a lilac-y colour there. And of course you can colour mix any of these. Hang on a minute, Sharon, and I will come back to these. We have an orange fabric paint, a sun yellow, which is definitely on the orange side of yellow, a pure yellow, and a vanilla in the yellow-orange family. We've got carmine and red, and they are in real life slightly different. We have pink, rosa, and compact powder. So a really good range. So, you know, if you're wanting to paint faces, for example, the hazelnut is a really good base colour mixed with the compact powder. And then if you want to darken it, you can add a little bit more of the brown. So lots of versatility here for your colour mixing. So Cheryl, these are fabric paints. They could be used as an acrylic paint, but they're really intended as a fabric paint. They have an inbuilt set of chemicals, which means that if you use them on fabrics, once they're heat set, you can machine wash them. And also the fabric stays soft and supple. And I've left my samples over the way, so just bear with, because those are one night. There we are. So let me just grab these and I can show you what I mean. There we are. So I got these a little while ago to play with. And so this is just a little fabric banner. And you can see I can scrunch that up. It's on reasonably thick cotton. But I've used a mixture of the blues, the black, and you can see how well that black is and how solid the coverage is of the black. Julie, I'll come back to that because at the moment in the UK I have no clue, but I think Viola Crafts will be stocking them long term, but I don't know about any of the other UK suppliers because I'm never party to that information from Pentart. They went on pre-order for retailers about 10 days ago, so hopefully they'll be winging their way into the UK market fairly soon. And then I've mixed them up. So beautiful colours, really nice coverage, highly pigmented. Okay, you're very welcome, Cheryl. I think in the US, I know in the US, TH Decor have them on order, but they have not quite arrived. So I'll just drop that down there. And here we are. We have another make that we've done, which is a big bag. So if I take the cushion out of the bag and pop it down, you'll be able to see it better. There we are. So this is just a cheap canvas bag, lead colours and lead paints and a bit of splattering, because it wouldn't be mine without a bit of splattering. Good evening, Barbara. Welcome. Thank you, Helen. Thank you. And then just to show that you don't need to have painting skills, let me remove the pot that's in mine out of here. I have a little bucket that will hold plants in it. And we've done a little bit of stamping with them. So lots of different options. I'll pop those safely out over there. We'll get rid of the greenery, which we don't need out from here. So these are the base colours. So a really good range of colours. Paint them on, dry 24 hours, heat set, non-steam iron on the hottest temperature for the fabric that you are using for 2 minutes. Let it cool down, and then you can wash in the washing machine. So really helpful, usable products. And I will need those out shortly. So what else have we got in the range? We have a set of 4 metallic stroke and a pearl. So we've got a gold metallic, which is really pretty, silver, bronze, copper and white pearl. So if you want a little bit of glitz and glam, Pentart have you covered with those and treat in the same way. So let me just pop those off to the side. I have to say that I don't have the whole range of these because they weren't available for shipping in the time to get them to me in the UK. But there are a range of neon colours. So we've got yellow, orange, bright pink and green as neon colours. So if you like the bright neons, the graphics colours that are there, and there is also a range of glow in the dark. So I suspect there's also a yellow glow in the dark as well, and possibly some more. As I say, I haven't got all of these colours. So that is a glow in the dark orange and pink. So lots and lots of options there for using. Okay. So what else will you need or might be helpful to add with our mix? Well, we've got some older products that again will help you use these pieces. So the first is a product called Fabric Medium. Good evening, Sarah. Hello, Maxine. Hi, Helen. Yes, they are gorgeous. So this is a white liquid that dries clear, so you can use it to prime your surface quite happily if that's what you want to do, but it will also act as a glue for your rice papers. It will also thin down your paints and reduce the intensity of the colour. So if you want a gradient of colour, you just mix some of this with your paints and then add more of the colour as you go, and you'll get brighter and brighter colours easily with this. And you can also put this through a stencil and then sprinkle on things like your glitter, and as it dries the glitter will become fast to the fabric. So a really useful fabric medium to have in your arsenal, and one I totally recommend. So last year around this time, Pentacolor produced a masking fluid. This is a fabric masking fluid which came out when the boutique paints were released. But you can draw this on or put it through a stencil, let it dry, then not dry naturally, then paint your colour over it, heat set everything, put your piece in the washing machine, and the masking fluid will come off, so you'll get a ghosted image wherever you've put your masking fluid. So again, a helpful addition to your armamentarium. Get your words out, put your teeth in. So those are those. And then there is a retarder coming out. Now, just be aware that if you've got the old bottles of the retarder for fabric and leather paints, it does not work with the new fabric paints. There is one specifically designed for the new fabric paints, but it didn't get to me in time. If you've got the old one, do what I've done and write old paints on them, because I've got old fabric paints as well, so you don't get them mixed up. But there is a new retarder specifically coming for the new paints going forward, so just be aware of that. And all the retarder will do is slow the drying time down for your project. Okay, so we're going to start with some painting, then I'm going to swap to some more new products which weren't shown yesterday, and because that will need a bit of a dry. So let me just pick that up. Hello, Blanche, welcome, Adana. If anyone has any questions, please just let me know. So I think I was going, I had 3 in mind. I think I was going to mix those 3 together. There we are. Okay. Now, I will quite happily admit that I cannot paint. Well, I can't paint an image, but I can use product. So you'll not get a beautiful toucan. Judith's was just amazing yesterday. It's well worth watching, even if on silent, to see her putting her masterpiece together. So I just have a cotton cushion case here that I've masked off some areas on, because I really want to work in the central panel and maybe add some panels of paint around the edges. and it comes from the Penta collection, which is a thing from Pentart. But again, you could get one from elsewhere if you needed to. So there we are. So let's just move that over to the side a little bit, and I've put some cardboard wrapped in cling film under there so that I can so it doesn't go straight the way through to the other side and stay in the other side, because that's not what I wanted. And if the pen marks on here are with a pen that is heat erasable, and those are easily obtainable, I think, in most countries. I had a dear friend donate me one, or bring me one over from the US, but I think that something equivalent will be available in the UK. So let me just pop out some of these colours, and you can see just how lush and they really are. So let's mix this on there, and then we can move it out of the way. Let's just get a series of those. There we are. So we're going to need some of this beautiful minty green. And we'll pop that onto there. And then we've got turquoise green here. I'm going to paint this on. If you're painting fabric, my darling, I would absolutely say that you should use a fabric paint to do it. It's designed to attach into all of the fibres of the natural. You can see how thick these are. It will drop, but it's, you know, they are really pretty thick, aren't they? There we are. I'll pop that over there. Cheryl, I absolutely would say you use a proper fabric paint. Are you in the UK, my darling, or are you in the US? There we are. So I'm going to pop those over there, and we'll just add some of this. So the toucan was incredible, as were her samples, and I so can't paint something like that. So I'm not even going to go there. I looked at it in absolute jealousy because of her and awe of her skills last night. They were it was just stunning. Let me just pick up a clean palette knife, and we'll add some of this into here. There we are. So let's just pop these. Now I'm going to use baby wipes tonight. Okie dokie. So Cheryl, if you're watching tonight, I will be live on Terry Lights' page at 9 o'clock UK times, are her normal time, and I'm deliberately going to pop these into here because I will then have some nice customized baby wipes. Just give this a roll around, open it up a bit. There we are. Hang that over my ring light that isn't on, pop that up there, clean my mitts, and then I'm going to have fabrics, nice soft baby wipes that have been dried with the paints on, just ready for you know, for doing other things with, like making some faux flowers. Thank you, my darling, much appreciated. Oops, sorry if that's just made anyone feel seasick. So you can see that I can go, depending on the amount of water added, from really vibrant to really pale. So don't be afraid of them. And you can see just how thick they are. So I'm just going to pour into here some fabric medium so that I can thin this down. Let's get rid of that cardboard inner. And as I say, this looks white, but absolutely is not white. So let's just shovel some of that out onto there. There we are. So that is equally reasonably thick. Okay, so let's just start a little bit of blending and mixing, and we will go from there. And we're just going to paint a base on here. And this is a Technic project I think that pretty much anyone should be able to achieve without great difficulty, partly because, as I say, for me things have to be relatively simple, because that's that's the level of my ability to freehand paint. I love using other products, but There we are. So we can soften that down a little bit. We'll pop that into there, and we're literally going to pop. And this is thick enough that it's not going to bleed. If you're worried about bleeding, and I'm not unduly, because this is a demo piece for starters, then what I would suggest you do is you prime your piece with some of the fabric medium first and let it go dry, and then that will help. So let's just mix this in together. So that's the one blue, and then we'll have a bit more adding, and we'll have some of that. We're not going to leave it as a flat layer long term, because that wouldn't be me, and I might need to put out some more of that green. So there we are. We'll pop that over there. Let's just pick up some of this, and we'll just then mix these colours through together. There we are. And we'll soften that line just with a little bit of a sponge, just helping to mix those colours through together. Yeah, so we can now repeat that from this end with a bit of luck. There we are. And you can add water if you want to thin it down. I'm quite happy with the thickness of this for the moment. It's working for me quite nicely. But if it's not working for you and you want it thinner, then just go ahead and mix the two together. There we are. Let's just mix these, pop them together. So you can see that we can shade and get lots, just by blending on our surface. I can spread this out reasonably well, which is going to help with the drying for this piece. Don't want to get it where I don't want to. There we are. So I'll just move that out a little bit. And you can layer your colours, so that's also cool, isn't it? And then let's just add some of this darker blue in the middle to here. There we are. And then we'll pop this to the side, give it a little bit of time to dry. As I say, this is definitely, to my mind, a project that any of us can do. There is no major skill in what I'm doing, and I'm hoping that that's a helpful thing to have, because it's sort of, because not every one of us are fine artists, are we? So let's just add a bit more of that, and then we can pick up our sponge and just swirl these together so that they match and the areas merge together. There we are. I've got some areas of transparency here. Oop, she says. So let me just clean that brush off a little bit, pick up a bit more of that green, and there, a bit more of that over there. I can just see that where I've got some gapping in the fabric, and we'll just pop that together and soften these through. And there we are. So they're I'm mixing them on my palette as I go, which is something that I quite like to do. And I can add a bit more of that softness into here. Maybe don't want it all quite so vibrant as that. So add a bit more of that minty green to the edges. Pop it all in. So I've got a sort of cloud, and I've managed to grade through. They've blended beautifully, and that's a joy. So the colours themselves are really thick, really intense, mixed with the fabric medium to help them move a little bit, but they're going to dry relatively quickly. Simple blending, not difficult at all. So that needs a bit of a dry. So that's going to be the average fun of my lives, isn't it? The average fun for my life. So let's just give this a little bit of a wash. What do you mean by even me, Sophie? The ability to draw and paint? Yeah, this one isn't. Anyone can do it. You could do this with the children on a wet day when you're wanting an indoor activity, or you could throw them outside with the paints and do it outside, and they could manage this really easily. In fact, children would have an absolute whale with them, particularly the neon on the glow in the dark colours, and this will dry relatively quickly. Caroline, I am making a cushion cover is the word I'm looking for. No, Maria, I wouldn't necessarily use these on silks. Pentart have a specific range of silk paints. I think you probably could get away with it, but I think they're quite thick. And I've no experience of using them on silk, but given that Pentart do have their own silk range, including their own silk range masking fluids and contour pens and things, I'm going to suggest that you're probably better off using those. And I can see an area, because I'm a pedantic perfectionist, that is just not covered right up in that corner. So I might regret having done that. Right then, seek underneath. But, oh, sorry, ladies. There we are. Pop these there. So I have used mint green, turquoise green, and turquoise blue. So and all of the colour ranges have a dark, a mid, and a pale tone, making it really, I think, quite easy to add your blended products to. So, and these are not going to take forever to dry. I'm going to give that a few more minutes. Here we are. And endeavour not to contaminate everything, because I'm not the cleanest of crafters, as we all know. So let's pop that there. So the next thing that Pentart asked me to share, and I know this was not shared last night, is 1, 2, 3. And one seems to have gone walkabouts. So I'll tell you what the other one is. So Pentart have produced in 500ml pots, white acrylic paint matte and black acrylic paint matte in their nice new smart up-to-date modern packaging. That's sorry, that means I don't know. There is a light modelling paste in 500ml and an ordinary modelling paste in 500ml and a 500ml of the structure paste. The one that I think is particularly sensible for even your average crafter. The other ones I think might be more suitable for your bigger, your so we say more professional rather than crafty crafters, is the light modelling paste, because this can be used to fill your low shallow molds. And my experience is if you're filling out things like the cake lace mold or the impression molds, you actually go through a lot of light modelling paste doing that. So having a jumbo pot of that I think is really, really helpful. And finally, they have produced for the first time a 500ml pot of the decoupage varnish and glue in the silky shine. So if the 50ml pots are way too tiny and you go through them, or the 100ml pots are not good, not big enough for you, then the 500ml pot may well work for you. So I was just asked to share that with everyone so that we knew what was going on. So one of the things, I think jumbo's good. I think jumbo is good. I think these are meant to cover black because they're so pigment dense. So I didn't have much that was black around as a base. I didn't order anything when I was asked to. So I've just got a Pentart black bag here, but it's a black surface. And I think this will help show so that if you're wanting to maybe decorate a pair of jeans, then that will also, will help you with your, with decorating your jeans, because if it's dark enough, if it will cover the black fabric nicely, then I think that it will also cover your denims nicely. So customized denim jeans for the summer holidays, add a little bit of decoupage perhaps, all of which might work. So I've just chosen a stencil at random to have an experiment with, and we're just going to pop this onto here, mask it off, and then I'll worry about what I might do with that. So if we just mask this off, and then we'll have a play with some of the other colours that we're going to use. I'm going to use some of the metallics on my cushion cover. So this is just to show that these will cover a black fabric. Have I done it before? No. Am I relying totally on Penta having been honest with me? Yeah, I am. So let's go for 2 shades of pink. We can always over stencil, or I can over stencil later, but I think if we go for a very pale colour and a mid-tone, then that's possibly a good guide as to how well the coverage might be for some of these things. So let's just have a little play. As you can say, I haven't opened all of my pots. My conservatory gets very hot in the summer, so I tend not to open things unless I absolutely need to. And I've got some stencil things. I'm just going to push my stencil down, and then I'm going to push through and hope that I don't get it all bleeding, because I know what I'm like. Let's dub off the excess and stencil. I've got lots of stenciling to do, but hey ho, there we are. We'll pop that over there. That looks to be covering, but I wanted to show that, as they're suggesting, is that it will cover the black dark surfaces and give you good colour, and that means they have to be really solidly opaque. My experience with them thus far has been that they are very opaque, so I'm taking a bit of a risk doing this on a live for you when I've not tried it, but let's just put that pale pink down here. But hopefully it's going to show that you some different colours at the same time, a couple of different quick makes, and also show you the opacity. This stencil is lifting up a bit as I stamp, so we might have a bit of bleeding. That's my fault because I didn't glue it down. So a bit of stencil spray, always a prudent move. So if the wording is a bit covered, that'll be user make error, not paint error. There we are. And just because I want it not to cover, move because we're on a live, it will do, because that's just what happens. So that looks reasonably. Let's see what the bright pink is. Good evening, Elizabeth. Welcome, my darling. Welcome. There we are. We're not going to be, she says. There we are. We've got the bright pink. Because girls got to have a bit of pink. I know, Sophie, you might prefer a bit of purple, but hey ho, there we are. And we're not going to contaminate our pots. We just think to get quite a lot of these out, which is just as well. You can see just how thick that is. If I give that a really good shake, it's really not moving, though they are really nice quality, thick products. And let's just see. Let's just check that I haven't been misinformed, that we really do have good coverage. I'm deliberately taking that up onto there, so we've got a mix of colours into the words. Let's just cover this. So you could, you can mask off lots of different parts of a stencil quite happily. Thin layers definitely better than thick layers when you're doing this. Pouncing motion, not a sweeping motion, unless you happen to know that you've got your stencil well and truly anchored. which we will do for the next one because it's quite big. There we are. So hopefully this will show just what good coverage you can get on a dark surface. And if it, as I say, if it will cover this, then I think it will happily cover. There we are. Your denim jeans, won't it? Let me just lid these. Good evening, Joan. Welcome, my darling. Welcome, welcome. So let's just pop that over there. Pop that over there. Let's just peel this off. Hey, there we are. I reckon that is really incredibly good coverage on a completely black background. So get your denim jackets out, those that are old and tatty, and have fun, because really you can then do whatever you want. You know, black jeans, white jeans, denim, whatever you want. It's pretty awesome, isn't it? And you absolutely so could not do that if you didn't have a highly pigmented base. So I'm just going to pop that over, not pull those over the back of my chair to dry. That can go over there, and I'm going to just rescue my stencil because there is some fine detail on this, but they absolutely cover black surfaces without any problem whatsoever. And I've picked two quite pale colours, so I think that if it wasn't going to cover, let me just pop this one up to dry. So there we are. We was doing something with the yellow earlier on. Watch out, you will see something made with all of the yellows on a certain page at some point fairly soon, I think, because the creatives were all set a challenge. There we are. Just give that a mop. There we are. Pop that one up to dry, and then I'm not wasting that. That can go over there, and we'll mop this down, and then we're going to give our cushion cover a little bit of a blitz. And we need another plate, and I only got one out because who was a silly girl? So let's just grab something else, move those out of the way. Cool, there we are. And I know we've got me off screen today, but I really think it's more important at this stage for you to be able to see the projects that are going on rather than my ugly mug shot. So I have a large stencil from Stamperia. So let's just give this, and it's got some flappy bits in it. So that is just some fabric spray, stencil spray, because I want to anchor this down nicely. Right, let me lift this up onto here, clear the decks, pop that over there, make sure I've got the bottom of that down there. I can take those edges off. Okay. And then let's centralize that. That will work. And let's just give that a proper push down onto there. Make sure it is anchored. There we are. And I've deliberately chosen a big stencil because it's going to be easier than me having to do an area, let it dry, and then do another area. But I thought we could then add in our copper and our bronze. So things, and as I say, there's a piece of cardboard in here to stop it all sticking together. So let's just put some of this beautiful metallic bronze. There we are. There is a gold, there is a silver. There we are. Onto here. We've got a reasonable area to cover. So let's just clean that, otherwise the lid will stick. That won't be much fun. There we are. The turquoisey bluey greens are stunning. They're some of my go-to colours. Don't worry, dearie, I will recap at the end, my darling. I'm not using complicated, it's not a complicated set of projects tonight. It's really about demonstrating the products, so that you've seen the range. And I've deliberately chosen a project that I think is achievable for anyone, rather than choosing something that is going to be complicated. So I am now just going to push this down. I've got some small areas in this stencil which might be a bit of a headache, and I can swirl it reasonably safely because I've got glue underneath it. But as I say, it's not my suggestion that you necessarily do things swirling. Dabbing is definitely a safer option. But again, this will hopefully show you how well things will cover. And if we want, I might get some of the gold out. There we are. Let's take some of this and we'll add some of this into here. And we're going to mix them up, because why not? Why not? Because then you've got different shades, haven't you, and different tones. So that's the plan, is that I'm deliberately going to mix these and mar them. So you could use separate stencils, build lots of different layers in detail as you go. There we are. But the stencil will work for me. Let's just add some more of that. And that's the bit that I thought might go a bit wobbly and walk about, so the once might not be so perfect. But hey ho, there we are. We'll get it to look as reasonable as we can. This is a very old and well loved stencil, so when it's lifting up, pouncing definitely is a safer option to go. You see, there we are. Let's just see. Yeah, we're going to have a little bit of a headache with that once, but hey ho, so be it, so be it. There we are. So let's just take some of this, and I think we're going to need some more paint out, and that's cool. I'd rather put out more as I need it than to throw paint in a yeah, it's a very well loved stencil. Let's just put a big wallop of that onto there and be naughty. No, I've been good all the way through, so I won't be naughty. And I'm just going to have to wipe my hands, because fabric is unforgiving. And I don't particularly want it to come off. There we are. So let's just have a little bit colour mixing on our palette. So we've got some mixture here. There we are. Just take some more of that nice coppery red and mix it through. As I say, you could paint with whatever you wanted, couldn't you? But I thought if I tried to do anything like Judith, I would just have an almighty mess. It wasn't going to happen. And I know it wasn't going to happen, because her painting is absolutely incredible. And I know my skill set. So simple techniques, but they're going to show, hopefully, that the fabric paints are accessible to anyone and everyone. So we're getting there. Let's make sure we've got these areas reasonably well covered. So I'm happy to ombre and mix my colours in together. If you're not, then separate it off as you want. There we are. So, but if we can get this to work quite nice, I know we've got an issue up there, but that's because the stencil lifted and that was totally user error. But if these will lift, you know, and cover, then you've seen how well the ordinary paints cover just on black, and this is just going to be covering, yeah, the metallics covering, and then I'll have done hopefully quite a reasonable job this evening of showing the different ways around. There we are. We've still got an area there, so let's just take that. So yeah, there we are. Got some more to cover. And the thing is that you just need to make sure that you've got it all covered. Oh, that O's a problem, but hey ho, if push comes to shove, I can sort that out, because I can go back over it with black and just pick out the black by offsetting it a little bit off there to cover the you know, where it's moved, and that will work quite nicely. But then I would need to clean this stencil off, mask it off the word in the correct place. There we are. Have I covered everything? Probably. There we are. So pop that into there. Cool. So let's just then lift that up off there. Pop that. I'm not worried about that stencil being cream crackled, because, as I say, it's an old stencil. So let us just then hopefully take off. So I've got a bit of seepage underneath, but not very much. Oops, there we are. And then if I want to, once this is dry, I can remask, and I could add a plain metallic border around there, but this will require this to be completely dry, and then me to remask inside and outside. Does that make sense, ladies? Let me just give this a bit of a dry. We've got plenty of time, so we might just do that. But let's see if we can get this completely dry. I've got my masking tape out. That's not a problem. Yeah. So even though I think I've messed up over here with the old stencil lifting, it still says once upon a time. Just be patient. Now you're meant to let these air dry for 24 hours, then iron it, and then you can put it in the washing machine on a cool wash. Don't put it in a boil wash, please. It won't cope with that. But a cool wash or a hand wash, it will absolutely work. So let me just get this dry, and then if I pick this, yeah, I'm still picking up ink paint. So let me just be patient. So if I move that, yeah, you can see the metallic in that quite nicely. I don't want to mask on top of this when it's wet, because I will definitely only really need the outside to be dry. So let me just concentrate on doing that, and then we'll add an edge to it. Why not? Because we can. So imagine this with, you know, some of the Indian paisleys or mandalas. You know, you could do so many things. Black background and a mandala with all of these bright colours would work so well. So well. And maybe some neater stenciling work. But actually, I sort of quite like the distress feel I've got. it works with the ombre background, and it works with the mixture of the colours on the top of it. Okay, let's just go for it. We might be pushing our luck. We might. Pair of scissors. There we are. So let's just pop that onto there. Masking can be a pain, but actually at this point it's absolutely essential for what I want to do. There we are. We'll lift that. We've managed to miss a bit at that end, so I'm just going to have to be very careful. There we are. Let's straighten that. It says, yeah, perfectly imperfect is a good description. Really good description. So let's just pop that. That's going to get covered anyway. So that can go there. That can go there. You can cut that. Okay. There we are. Let's just trim that. And let's just try just to be patient. There we are. We'll pop that over there. So that's going to go there. That can go down to there. That can go there. Let's just cut that neatly. There we are. Let's just lift that up a little bit. And she says, shaking. Shut that, cut that down there. Pop that down. There we are. Reasonably edged. There we are. Pop that over there. Pop that over there. And at this point, I could do one of two things. I can add another layer of masking, which you might do. There we are. There we are. Let's just trim that just a fraction across there, so it's straight-ish. There we are. That will do. Excuse me. It's just as well my. And let's just pop. That can go there. That can go there. Have I got my ruler? There we are. And let's just measure how far that is. So that is, at this end, excuse me, is 3/4 of an inch. So let's just pop that 3/4 of an inch, and well, I don't know where my pen is, but I did have out my fabric pen. We'll do it with pencil, because why not? There we are. 3/4 there. 3/4 there. Let's just run it. That looks reasonable. Maybe not even. Let's just pop that there. Pop that to over there. And obviously, if you're doing this to sell, which I won't be, you measure everything out really nicely. Quite possibly. Quite possibly. Let's just eyeball the 3/4 for the sake of my sanity. That will do. That will do. It'll be right. There we are. Sorry. So hopefully this fabric actually has a slub in it, so that's sort of making it a little bit easier for me doing this, to gauge it to be approximately, she says, having gone off on the wonk, because that's definitely not vaguely straight. There we are. So we will try to have it reasonably. There we are. Okie dokie. So now we can take, why not just take the beautiful gold metallic, and I don't need to have I got, oh, that's a better brush. There we are. So let's just take the gold metallic and pounce this down, and no one will be any the wiser that I've splurged a bit out the side there. So I hope that stencil, bit of masking tape, bit of a sponge, easy techniques to use fabulous products with. Yeah, not difficult, not complicated. Let me just pop this into there a little bit further. And then I've used the colours that Judith didn't use on hers, I think, this way. There we are. And we'll just even that up, pop that down. Cover up that pale blue, bluey green that's over there. And then if you really want, you can then take a fabric pen or a Posca pen, and then, because those will also work on her, and just outline it with a black marker Posca, or with a black fabric pen, or even a metallic fabric pen. Yeah, there's lots of options on the market for adding to this. And of course you could use these with your rice papers, using your fabric medium to glue it all in place. That will work quite nicely. There we are. Let's just make sure we've got that reasonably well covered. There we are. Cool. Let's just make sure I can get that off without getting paint everywhere, Tracy. And now we've got lines from the gold because we weren't patient. But hey ho, you know, bit of black pen, you'll never know any different. Let's just pop that over there. Don't put your mucky hands on, please. Let's get rid of. Let's just lift that up. There we are. And I can see that I've got a line here. So I have some fabric brushes here. You can hear that they're scratchy. And I could actually widen that off camera if I want to. There we are. To even that up, I might just take it out another layer to give it a bigger border. So, ladies, let's just recap without as Mr. Minnis would say, ground floor level 1 drying is a bit full. So we now have, let's just pop these all back together. So, and then we've got them logically back in, and then you can see the different arrays that we've got. Pink, purple, blue, turquoise, gold, and gold. Excellent. Okay, so black, white, grey, mint green, beige, hazelnut brown, pine green, green, apple green, turquoise green, blue, turquoise green, and it was those three I used for the base. Petrol blue, I'm in love. Sky blue, blue, dark blue. All of the colours coming with a dark, a medium and a light tone. Your poor bank manager, Betty, but Teresa has got them on order at TH Decor. So purple and cyclamen lilac. Pink, rose pink, compact powder. Vanilla, yellow, sun yellow, which is really a pale yellowy orange. Orange, carmine, red. I think, so there's about 40 colours here. This lot. Sophie, yes, you can once it's dry. Once you've dried and set it and you've washed it, you can pop it in the tumble dryer to dry. That won't be a problem to do. Can't imagine anyone not wanting to do that. And then we have silver, pearl, bronze, gold, and copper, which are the colours I've just used. Then we have glow in the dark, and there are some more colours to come. So there's beautiful red, orange, and pink, and I suspect there's at least a yellow and probably a green in that to come. And then we've got neons in yellow, pink, green, and orange. So these ladies are replacing the previous fabric paints from Pentart. Okay, we use the fabric medium. I've selected that if you've got the old retarder, mark it carefully. As for the old paints, there's a new one on the mark coming. Should be available for the retailers and therefore in the shops, but it didn't get to me in time. Masking fluid, and then huge pots of decoupage glue, acrylic paint in black and white, structure paste, modelling paste light. So that's a huge collection of product that is there. I can see where I dropped the one that I thought I'd lost. There we are. I knew I hadn't gone completely loopy. Doesn't take much for me to be completely loopy. There we are. And the modelling paste. There we are. So lots of big pots for those of you that really do need industrial size quantities of products. Lots of fun colours to play with. Pentacolor have lots of bases, but I'm sure that in your own countries you will be able to pick bases up reasonably easily. The colours are absolutely to die for. So completely worth having. This is going to be made into a fabric flower at some point when it's properly dry. So let me just scrunch that together, spread it all out a bit. We'll use it to pick up some more of the other colours later on. And for those of you that think that one live with me is quite enough, that's fair enough. But I will be live on Terry Lights' page at 9 o'clock UK time this evening to help her out as well. So let's just give that a little bit of a mix together, ombre it together, pop that up on my drying rack, aka my ring light, and I'm going to sign off for now. So hopefully I've inspired you to want the products. Please contact your local retailers. In the UK, I have no clue who's stocking them. Oakwood Archer are currently the UK distributor, but I suspect they might not have them in. But it might be worth asking them, and maybe they will. Otherwise, try Viola Crafts, who are an import house company based in Hungary, because they ship very safely and stock lots of the Pentart products on their website, and their shipping is not expensive. So that's all for tonight. I hope it's been a helpful live. I am back on for Pentart next Tuesday with another fabric based thing, but using something very different. So good night, ladies. Please take care of yourself and enjoy your weekend.